Welcome to Growing Bremerton Together with Mayor Patty Lent. I have two guests today. My very first one is Gina Wells, newly appointed Executive Director of the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce, and my second guest is Max Kaler, Director of Instrumental Music for the Bremerton High School. Stay with us. Welcome to Growing Bremerton Together with Mayor Patty Lent. My first guest today is going to be Gina Wells. She is the newly appointed Executive Director for the Bremerton Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to learn a little bit about her. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
Now, you're not from Kitsap, you're from Seattle.
I was born in Seattle, and in 1973 we moved over to Indianola.
Because your grandmother lived there?
No, we had a summer place over there, and so we'd spend our summers growing up, playing on the beach and weekends, summers, and then in 1973 my parents decided to make the move over, so we moved there.
And then how did your school go? Did you go to school in Kitsap?
Yeah, I went to North Kitsap. I graduated from North Kitsap, so I did 5 years in the North Kitsap School District.
And you got involved with the Youth Symphony. Was that one of your first positions out of school, or? No, I did retail out of school. I worked for Nordstrom for 5 years, and then went to Bon Marché, and which then went to the Bon Macy's and is now Macy's. And so I did 14 years in retail, and then became a stay-at-home mom. Which is great. Great for the kids and great for you. Being in Nordstrom's, you had to do that commute, so you're familiar with commuters.
Yes.
You'll be happy when we get that passenger-only ferry in, as well as our businesses.
Right.
So then after retail and after being home with your kids, how many children?
2 boys.
2 boys, and they're grown?
Yeah, 24 and 21. Yeah, so they are attending Central Washington. The oldest one is taking a little time off right now, but Connor, my youngest, is a junior up there.
Good. And then you got involved with the Youth Symphony and the Symphony Orchestra.
When they were still in school. So I had been with the symphony for 10 years. They hired me. They received a lodging tax grant through Kitsap County, and they needed someone to market the symphony outside of Kitsap. So I created a lodging, dinner, dining package, right? And then took that outside of the county. And that was just a 6-month contracted position, and they were looking, at that time they knew they were going to start the youth orchestra, so they were looking for someone to manage, be the business manager for that, and they needed an education director to manage the education programs that the symphony provides to the community. So that happened along.
Now the symphony, I'm so impressed with our Bremerton Symphony. It's been going for over 72 years, and no one's paid. They're all, that's the passion of working people that love music, because it's a beautiful symphony.
Right.
And I don't think enough people know about them, or we would fill Bremerton High School Performing Arts.
They continue to grow, and they continue to offer, wonderful programming, and the audience is growing.
That's good.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting more from out of the county and out of the area.
Right.
Now, I like your maestro. That is Flutterman Allen.
But yeah.
Is it Futterman?
Futterman.
Because he writes for the symphony as well as conducting.
Right. Correct.
Now, here we are today. Do you have some great plans? And is it the Bremerton Chamber or the Greater Bremerton Chamber? What do you call yourself?
Bremerton Chamber of Commerce.
And your goal is to double your membership? Everyone's goal.
Triple!
I know lots of our businesses in Bremerton are always, North Mason is a pretty active chamber as well. And at one time, the statistics showed that 51% of their membership were from Kitsap County. So I know that there's a kind of a crossbreed or a crossover. How many chambers are there that we get together and we share ideas and marketing? Probably 7 or 8.
I was going to say 5 to 7.
If we include North Mason and Gig Harbor.
And Gig Harbor.
So you have a job cut out for you. I know you were excited. It's something that will take all of your skills and allow you...
Plus,
plus. But you've got a great staff, and I think that you know most of the people because you're, how many years have you been in Rotary?
It'll 14 years in this June. Coming up in June, I'll be in 14 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's the Bremerton East Side Rotary.
Rotary Club of East Bremerton.
And you are a past president.
I am.
Now, in that position, I know you have to go to school. They are very strict about any leadership in Rotarians nationwide. Tell me just a little bit about what that was like.
Well, they offer, a president-elect seminar. That's, it's a weekend seminar. Mm-hmm. There are, district leadership conference that happens every year.
They're always trying to keep you at your very best in that position. I've been to your club, and it is one wonderful club, and I've been to some of your installations, so I do know that along with the business side and raising money for scholarships, that you really are someone that is, you've got frivolity and you've got great membership. So
it is the fun club.
Mm-hmm. It is the fun club. Would you say that most of the members of Rotary are members of the Chamber, or would that be a goal you'd like that networking to meet?
That is a goal. Mm-hmm. They aren't all members yet. Mm-hmm. We've added a few already.
Good, good. We're in the midst as a city in doing a comprehensive plan, and one of the things we've never done in growth planning, we look at the land, we look at the zoning, we look at all the codes that require development. We've never looked at jobs, and we've really never looked at economic development. So we feel that the Chamber is going to be very, very prevalent in as we move forward. So you're going to get phone calls from the city. They're going to want to know where the jobs, where some of the jobs are, where the growth is. They're going to let you know where there is opportunity for someone looking to relocate. So as you develop all the things you're doing inside the Chamber, you're going to be working side by side with our city planners and what our goals are for the next year.
Well, and I'm looking forward to that. I've already received some phone calls from outside companies, people looking to move here, and what's available, and things like that. So
we've got some things going that I hope will really tie in with what your plans are. One is, of course, the passenger-only ferry, and we consider ourselves here on the peninsula the natural side of Puget Sound. So I talk to people and say, that Puget Sound is not a division between Seattle and the east side and Bremerton. It's actually a connection, and our ferry system is what draws the people back and forth.
Well, I think for all the years that I commuted, working on the other side, the difference between, and I also commuted to Tacoma. So just that drive alone, I would rather take an hour boat ride because you could accomplish things on the boat or just relax before you did come home.
And the congestion that we have on all of our highways. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you are driving. We will be working because we'll need the Chamber and we'll need all of your membership to take a look at what's going to happen to the city as we grow and that passenger-only ferry gets into the water and is sustainable. You may know that I was able to help lay the keel of the third 144 ferry, which means that boat is going to be on the Bremerton Run. Oh. Instead of having kind of a leftover boat or the smaller boats, we're going to have a brand new one. And I think that's just something that's great for membership, for employees and employers. So I'm pretty excited about you being in this position. When I said you're newly elected or newly appointed, it's just really fresh. I think that we just had a reception for you 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So you got.
It is new.
So that fire hose effect is how you feel.
It is a fire hose effect. Every day it is a new fire. We are experiencing some leaking in the building, so that's kind of on my mind right now.
Well, today being such a rainy day and our season, it looks like we could have some stormy weather. The city needs to stay ahead of that as well. Yeah. I do know that we need what you're going to bring to the Chamber. We need the Chamber, and I'm looking forward to all the things that are ahead of us.
We have our West Sound Business Expo happening out at the pavilion.
And that's been going on for 4 or 5 years?
I think it's 8 years now.
Oh, it is?
I think it's been 8 years. And so I'm very, that's coming up, so that's an exciting piece. we can have 160 vendors there, so that's the goal, is to fill the house this year.
So that's what you're working on right now?
Yeah, right now.
And do all the other chambers work on that, or is it strictly sponsored by our Bremerton Chamber?
It's multi, all the registration, everything comes through the Bremerton Chamber, but they all participate in it.
That's great. I've been there just about every year. The first year we had a booth, the first year I was mayor, we had a booth.
Oh.
And but I was tied to the booth, so I didn't get to enjoy all the other things that were going on. And it fulfills all kinds of businesses and activities, everything that's going on in the entire peninsula.
There's they call it the kids zone that's provided, so that the youth can be there while people are going through, visiting other businesses and getting information, because there is the after work rush that comes through.
So it's more not just babysitting, but they've got activities center for kids.
Yes, right.
That's our population, and that's the future of our cities and our chambers. So I'm hoping that as we build more and more condominiums and apartment houses, that we can get that young professional to come over here and live. So that's what my marketing is going to be. I know that you'll be maybe side by side with that.
Hoping to.
That's great. I think it's going to be a wonderful partnership that we have. And there'll always be somebody at your chamber luncheon. If it's not the mayor, it's going to be one of the directors. So we are going to commit ourselves to be involved.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks for being with me.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be back with a new guest. Welcome back to Growing Bremerton Together with Mayor Patty Lent. My second guest today is Max Carler. He is the Director of Instrumental Music at Bremerton High School, and he has got lots to share with us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, where did you grow up, Max?
I was born and raised in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, which is really close to Albuquerque. When I graduated high school, I came up here and I went to the University of Puget Sound and earned my bachelor's and master's, and liked it, so I stayed.
And has music always been a part of your growing up?
Not always. My parents don't play, and I started playing trombone in 7th grade and liked it and just stuck with it all the way through.
Trombone, that's not the easiest thing to play.
I think they're all hard in different ways.
My grandson plays the trombone.
Excellent.
So I'm going to have him come and watch you.
Perfect.
Before becoming the director, you were with the Youth Symphony.
This year is actually my first year with the Youth Symphony, so this is my second year at Bremerton High School. And my colleague, Michael Woods at Central Kitsap High School, is also the director at the Youth Symphony, the musical director. So he called me this summer and said, hey, would you like to coach? And so I'm one of the coaching staff, and they kind of use me where they need me. Most of the time I'm working with violas, but sometimes it's violins, sometimes it's all the strings together. And it's just kind of wherever they need me.
How interesting. Do you see the talent in students when you're teaching, and do you make recommendations for them to get involved in the Youth Symphony?
I do. I've been, in fact, today talking to students a lot about, the first thing that will make you better at your instrument is practicing. But obviously the second thing is being with people that practice a lot and being around students that are like-minded. And the Youth Symphony is one of the places where you can find students that practice a lot and work really hard and want to be around you too.
And then your confidence grows and you're performing much more than you get to when you're in high school.
And much more challenging literature as well.
That's great. You graduated from?
The University of Puget Sound.
Puget Sound, and that's right in Tacoma. I'm from Tacoma as well. And as far as our Bremerton High School, there are lots of talent there. The families, because I know just a couple of years ago, your wind string instruments went to and played at Carnegie Hall.
This last year, I took the students to Spokane to perform in their Starlight Parade for their Veterans Day, which is pretty cool because it's a nighttime parade, being a Starlight one. So we hit the Bremerton Armed Forces Day Parade and got on a bus and drove to Spokane, and we did 2 parades in one day.
Oh, they had to be exhausted.
Oh, it was awesome. They were totally exhausted.
I bet. Oh my gosh.
And this next year, I've been working with my choral colleague, Wendy McFeeters, and next year we're taking all of our students, the entire music department of Bremerton High School, so band, orchestra, and choir, to Orlando, Florida to perform at Disney World.
Was that invitational?
It's semi-invitational. You have to be invited. We're working through a company, and we'll all be going together.
Is there a fundraiser that's on now for the students to raise some of the funds for them to go?
We have lots of ongoing ones. Sometimes students, from one fundraiser works really well for one family and not for another family, just based on the connections that their
Logistics.
folks have. The one big one that we do as an instrumental music department is Tag Day. And since I'm here with you, just take a special second and thank everyone at home when our students come and knock on your door and say, hey, we're from the Bremerton High School Music Department. Here's all the things we have planned for this year. Would you care to make a donation? So thank you. This year we brought in almost $6,000 with donations.
Tremendous. And it's just from knocking on doors. And do they wear their student ID, or how do they identify?
We have them dress in whatever uniform they have. So the band students will be in their marching band uniform. The orchestra students will be in their concert attire. The drill team is in their drill team uniform, and the flag team is in their flag stuff.
Do they do that in the spring when the weather's a little bit nicer?
Well, I'm planning one now. Last year we didn't need that much. Spokane is not an expensive trip. Orlando is, so we're going to be doing that more regularly.
I might make a recommendation, is that there are so many civic clubs in our communities that if you have a couple of your band members that could make a presentation, you can definitely walk away from each one of those clubs with a donation. So that would be something during the day. I think, is it Wednesday you have early release?
We do. I think we've performed at, I think the Rotary Club in downtown, I've taken my orchestra to before, but it's on my list to compile, on my to-do list to compile a more complete list of, the Lions Club and the Eagles Club and the Rotary Club of East Bremerton, which you're a member of.
Would you say that Christmas time is a fun time for them? Because we just had them at our tree lighting downtown Bremerton, and it was not nearly as cold or windy as the year before.
Oh my goodness, no.
So it was really a pleasure. I think you played 8 different songs?
I think it was 8 to 10 different carols.
And then I know you have nothing to do with our marching band or the flag squad, but they were there this year as well. Yeah,
the drill team and flag team have fabulous coaches, and we work collaboratively at events like this. I'm a big believer in that having lots of students that support and families support one common goal is much better than doing things separately. And disjointed.
Do you practice like on a field for the marching band, and then they can come out and practice with you?
Yeah, typically the flag team they have some practices separate because they have their choreography that they do, but they're with us about half the time on our field while we're rehearsing in the fall. And the drill team has their own set, so if you've been to a football game, they do a song right before our field show, but they do spend 20, 25 minutes with us a couple times a week just to make sure that their choreography fits with the music that we're performing.
That's great. Do you write any of the music, or is it something that they have a say in, or is it something that you program during the curriculum of teaching? A little of both?
A little of both. All the music that we perform during our concert and all the stuff that we work on during the curricular school day is all concert music or ensemble music. So this is stuff that if you were to come to our next concert, which will be in March, the date escapes me, I've themed it, and all of our themes, this theme is postcards, so it's pieces of music from all across the world. But we don't do any marching band during the school day. The marching band is all volunteer, and it's all after school.
After school.
And right now it's about 50-50. About half the music I've selected because it's stuff that it's like, yep, we've got this in the bag, it's easy, it's good to go. And then the other half of the stuff, the drum majors kind of poll the other students and see, what do you like? Do you like this? Do you like that? And we pick up some tunes. And I'm not opposed to arranging stuff myself as well.
Is the Armed Forces Day a special day for the marching band?
It is. The students take it very seriously, and it's really cool to see them get that focused and that excited about something. There's all these cool traditions that I was informed of last year, being my first year, that we do, and it's like, by all means, let's keep doing them. We, before the parade, get together at the school and run through everything to make sure it looks good, and then we go in a single file line down to Evergreen Park, and it's kind of neat because
you actually walk from the school to the...
We march in step from the school in a single file line all the way down to Evergreen Park.
We've never captured that on film. I think that would be something to see.
Yeah, it's
One
something.
of the things unrelated to music, but very important to the high school and to our community, is our food drive. And the students have had that line where they pass from the school all the goods that end up across the street over at the food bank. That has to be an actually marvelous time for them to do that.
We have a lot of just really, I think Bremerton High School is a really special place. The students are very conscious of the world that they live in and their community. I have a student in my orchestra all the time that's talking to me about like eco-friendly, she's very green in that regard. She's like, where's your recycling bin?
A young
what
green
about
person.
This? Yes, what about this? What about this? It's very funny and very helpful as well.
That's great. I do know that our students are our future, and so I get pretty involved with the school district as well. Your enthusiasm is very prevalent. You must be an enticement and fresh for the students to participate in the music. So if there's anything besides knowing that we're going to see your kids out knocking on door and raising funds for Orlando and Disney World, is there anything else that you can think of that our audience should come to the high school? You said March, and the date will be posted.
The date will be posted.
Next performance at the school.
Yeah, that should be it.
That should be it. We look forward to all of those, and to a great career for you.
Thank you so much.
Max. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you next time.